You are at home alone in the evening, your phone vibrates. On the other end of the line is your daughter's voice, choked with tears. She says she has just had an accident, that she is at a police station. They will not let her talk for long, and she needs you to transfer money immediately for bail. You hear noise in the background, people shouting, sobbing that sounds painfully real. Your heart is racing. Your hands are shaking as you open your banking app. Everything matches what could happen in real life so perfectly that you do not stop to question it. Only a few hours later, when you finally reach your daughter, do you learn that she is perfectly fine, sitting at her desk in the office. What you heard was not your child, but an artificial voice created by an AI system using a few videos she had once posted on social media. Stories like this are no longer hypothetical. We are living in a strange era. Never before have human beings had so many tools to verify information, and yet never before have we been so easy to deceive. We can look up almost anything on our phones, from the history of wars to user reviews of a restaurant on the other side of the ocean. We can watch live images from battlefields, elections, and protests in both the United States and Europe. And yet at the same time, the number of online scams, identity fraud cases, fake news stories, and AI-driven manipulative content is exploding in every area, from finance and crypto to politics and everyday life. The frightening question is not whether AI can fool us. The real question is why we have become so easy to fool in the age of AI. Why can an ordinary person with education, life experience, and plenty of tools to fact check still wire tens of thousands of dollars because of a single phone call, still fall for a fake video, or still be drawn into a romantic story built entirely by an anonymous account? And if right now we already struggle to tell truth from fabrication, what will happen to our sense of safety and our ability to judge a few years from now when the technology becomes even more powerful? To answer that question, we have to look at two things at the same time. First is how the human brain has evolved over tens of thousands of years, with emotional mechanisms, beliefs, and instinctive reactions that were never designed for a world flooded with digital data. Second is the speed at which AI is developing, not only in raw computing power, but also in its ability to imitate humans and to hit psychological blind spots that already exist inside us. When those two forces meet, on one side humans with an ancient cognitive model, on the other AI with infinite capacity to simulate, they create the perfect gap for fraud, manipulation, and misdirection to flourish. For a long time, we were taught that seeing with our own eyes and hearing with our own ears was proof. A photo, a video clip, a live phone call were the things that made us feel safe that something had really happened, but AI has quietly broken that foundation. Image generators, video tools, and AI voice technologies have become so easy to use that even people without technical skills can create footage that looks like real camera work, or a voice that sounds like a public figure's, after just a few seconds of audio input. When visual and audio evidence can no longer be trusted, we fall into a dangerous paradox. Either we go on believing what we see and become easier to fool, or we start to doubt everything, believing that nothing is real, and we become vulnerable to a different kind of manipulation. When you see too many fake images and videos that you cannot tell apart from reality, you can slip into a state of fatigue and resignation, no longer trusting any source, including the ones that are actually correct. A society where people easily believe lies but refuse to believe the truth is the ideal environment for those who want to manipulate public opinion. In that context, criminals and scammers have moved quickly to exploit this gray zone. They use AI to create phishing emails that perfectly mimic a bank's writing style, to build fake websites with identical interfaces, to generate voices that sound exactly like a manager ordering an employee to transfer funds, or to build artificial avatars to join online meetings. In the past, scammers had to work hard to train their voices, learn how to talk, forge documents, and practice impersonation. Now AI systems take over a huge part of that work, with precision, speed, and scale that far exceed what humans can do manually. But blaming technology alone is not enough. The deeper cause lies in how our brains process information. Humans have a built-in tendency to trust what feels familiar. When we see a logo we have seen many times, a face that looks like a family member, a voice that sounds warm and caring like someone we love, our brain instantly activates a sense of trust. AI can now create that feeling of familiarity at a scale we have never seen before. It can learn your relative's voice from a few videos, mimic your boss's email style, copy the way a TV host in America or Europe speaks after watching a handful of old programs. Every time you think this sounds familiar, you may already be standing close to a carefully designed trap. We also tend to judge information with our emotions first and our reason second. When a message makes you panic about a loved one's safety, when a video stirs anger toward a politician, when an advertisement sparks greed with the promise of high returns, emotional centers in the brain react much faster than the rational parts. AI is extremely good at generating content that targets precisely those emotions. It can test hundreds of versions of headlines and images, see which ones get the most clicks, then optimize until the percentage of people who fall for the bait is as high as possible. Investment pitches and fraudulent websites today are no longer loud and ridiculous. They are designed to be just reasonable enough not to look suspicious, yet attractive enough to hit our greed and our fear of missing out. Another reason we are so easily deceived in the AI era is the speed and volume of information. Every day, users in the United States and Europe swipe through hundreds of posts, videos, and short clips on their phones. No one has the time to verify every single thing. But AI can create content at a staggering pace. It can generate thousands of versions of the same scam story. Each version tweaked slightly to fit a different target group, from students drowning in tuition debt to retirees living off their savings. While our brains are struggling to handle a chaotic rain of information, scam networks use AI to continuously aim at the specific weak spots of each individual. And it does not stop at money. AI is also being used to manipulate political and social perceptions. In some US states, there have already been robocalls using voices that mimic famous figures or politicians, urging voters not to go to the polls or to change their decisions. Those are only early examples. The more worrying scenario is a nationwide campaign using fake video, audio, and images individually tailored for different voter groups, cultural regions, and age ranges, each crafted to exploit specific fears and prejudices. In that world, people are not only tricked out of their money, but also cheated in how they perceive reality and how they understand the world. In finance and crypto, so-called pig butchering scams are exploding. Victims are slowly guided into investment groups, private chats, and social media accounts that look extremely convincing. Behind the scenes, AI answers messages around the clock, generates fake performance reports, and writes investment analyses that look professional and articulate, speaking with the fluency of a real expert. Thanks to AI, scammers can run entire networks of victims that previously would have required many human operators. That feeling of he is always there, always caring, always replying so quickly is sometimes not the sign of a sincere person at all, but the sign of an automated system optimized to never give you time to think twice. The troubling part is that criminals are not the only ones using AI. Companies, organizations, and even governments use AI to optimize ads, messages, and communication campaigns. In responsible hands, that can be a legitimate tool. But as the line between persuasion and manipulation becomes blurred, ordinary people find it very hard to know whether they are being informed or being steered. Some articles and videos look like natural content made by a real person, but are actually produced by AI systems trained on millions of past interactions, designed to know exactly which words and phrases will make you stop, watch, and agree. The more of that kind of content we consume without realizing it, the more we end up holding beliefs that we ourselves cannot explain the origin of. Another factor that makes us easy to fool is loneliness and our need for connection. In modern society, whether in New York, Berlin, or Paris, many people feel isolated in an ocean of information and pressure. They seek out online groups, small communities, or even chats with chatbots. That is the perfect environment for AI-based relationships to grow. From fabricated romances to friends who seem to understand you better than your family, AI can remember every detail you have ever shared, respond exactly to your mood, and say the things you most want to hear. Once that feeling of being understood takes hold, your rational defenses drop. And at that moment, a suggestion to invest, a link to download an app, or a request to share personal information becomes much easier to accept. Meanwhile, the traditional protective systems we expect to recognize fraud are not keeping up. The tools that once spotted spam email, fake calls, or altered documents are struggling with AI-generated content because the quality of forgery has surpassed the old warning signs. This makes everyday users even more likely to be complacent, assuming that if something has passed the platform's filters, it must be safe, when in fact it may not be. When technical defenses become fragile and our psychological and skill-based defenses as individuals have not yet been upgraded, the space that bad actors can exploit becomes wider. Perhaps the deepest reason we are so easily deceived in the age of AI is that we are still using old ways of thinking in a new world. In the last century, we trusted newspapers, television, and photographs. Later generations learned to doubt a little, but still treated live video as strong evidence. Now, everything from voices to images can be created from nothing but numbers. Yet most of us have not updated our instincts to treat those things as high-risk signals that must go through several layers of verification. We still feel that a video call showing a familiar face is enough to trust the person on the other end, even as AI quickly learns to mimic eye movements, facial expressions, and even subtle gestures. Seen from this angle, the AI era is not just about technology. It is about the collision between machine speed and human slowness. AI can generate thousands of scam variants in a few minutes, while we may need hours or even days to understand what happened after we have already clicked transfer. AI can analyze the behavior of millions of people at once to find common weak points, while each of us sees only a tiny slice of content on our own screen, never the full picture. In a game where one side can see the entire map and the other side sees only a small corner, the outcome is easy to predict. That does not mean we are helpless, but it does mean that if we keep living, believing, and reacting the way we did 10 years ago, we will become victims more and more easily. We need to learn a new skill, a kind of information literacy for the AI age. It is not just about checking sources, but about being aware that any voice, image, or message that hits your emotions very hard must pass through a layer of healthy skepticism. When you receive a desperate call for help, remember that voices can be faked. When you see a shocking video about a politician or celebrity, remember that footage can be staged. When you are drawn to an investment opportunity that sounds perfectly reasonable, ask yourself whether you are talking to a real person or to an AI system trained to persuade you. In reality, there are already specific recommendations from banks, financial institutions, and regulators on how people should protect themselves from AI-powered scams. Many advise families to set up private passwords or questions that only real relatives would know to verify identity in emergency calls. Organizations urge users to slow down before hitting the transfer button, to call back using another number, or to use official channels to confirm requests. The core idea is very clear. If AI accelerates deception, then humans must respond by slowing down their pace, staying calm, and adding extra verification steps before they believe. However, we cannot just ask each individual to protect themselves while the entire environment around them is being augmented by AI. At the system level, we need laws, regulations, and defensive technologies to control the abuse of AI in fraud and information manipulation. Some countries are developing tools to detect AI-generated content, to label synthetic images and videos, or to build stronger digital identity systems. Ironically, we have to use AI itself to fight back against AI-driven fraud. That race will not end soon, but at the very least it shows that humanity is not standing still and surrendering. If we zoom out even further, the question of why we are so easily deceived in the AI era is not only about technology or crime. It is about how modern society has allowed its foundation of trust to rest on things that can be faked. We hand over power to social media platforms to decide what appears in front of our eyes. We allow engagement-optimizing algorithms to shape what we think about, what we get angry over, what we fear. When AI enters the picture, it simply pushes those existing mechanisms to the extreme. What used to be done manually by people trying to manipulate public opinion is now amplified by machines that can learn and adapt at incredible speed. So what conclusion should we draw? Should we turn our backs on AI, stop using these tools, and go back to the age of newspapers and handwritten letters? That is nearly impossible. AI is already inside the banks we use, the fraud detection of our credit cards, the translation tools that help us understand each other, the hospitals, the transport systems, and the creative apps we enjoy. The issue is not whether we will accept AI, but whether we will live with it as victims or as grown-ups who understand the risks and know how to protect ourselves. To do that, each of us has to change a little. We need to learn how to doubt intelligently, not to distrust everything. We should practice pausing for a few seconds before any piece of content that hits us hard, especially those that play on fear, greed, or outrage. We should talk with family and friends about new scam tactics so that the most vulnerable people, like the elderly or those under heavy stress, do not face them alone. We should support rules and technologies that bring more transparency, instead of ignoring them because they seem distant from our daily lives. The AI era will keep moving forward whether we are ready or not. Models will become more powerful. Fake images and voices will grow so realistic that the naked eye will not be able to tell the difference. But at the same time, our reflexes can be upgraded. We can build new habits, new rules in our families, communities, and societies. If our grandparents once warned us not to open the door to strangers, now we must warn each other not to open our wallets for a voice or a face that only a screen confirms. If in the past a single photograph was enough to prove a story, today we should demand more context, more origin information, and consistency across multiple sources. Perhaps the most important thing to remember is that in every system, whether social or technical, the human being is still the final deciding link. AI can imitate your child's crying voice, but only you can decide whether to press the transfer button. AI can create a shocking political video, but only you can decide whether to share it or delete it. AI can construct a perfect love story, but only you can choose to ask who is really behind the screen. Why are we easier to deceive in the AI era? Because technology has learned very quickly how to attack the deepest weaknesses in the human mind. Well, we have not yet had time to learn how to defend ourselves, but the story does not end there. The next question, far more important, is how long we will allow this situation to continue, and what role each of us chooses to play in this new world. Will we be victims swept away by an ever more sophisticated wave of scams, or will we become and clear-seeing observers, moving more slowly but more firmly, using AI as a tool instead of becoming prey in its game?